Okay, so so yeah, you were at what were you asking? What?
What was it you were asking?
What was it you were
What
asking?
does your shirt say?
It says um
Become an obliviator? That's not a real
yes.
job. In Harry Potter, I mean.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, of course it is a real job because of the muggles or non-magi, which way to
This is
fucking phone it.
this is
That's a
from
cool shirt though.
this is what you've seen me wear. I've worn this on the show before, like the TV show for sure. Um
Right.
this is from I used to get when I had disposable income out
Oh,
the
the
wazoo.
boxes.
I used to get Loot Crate, and God, that was oh, that was wild. But I used to get Loot Crate, and this is one of the shirts from they had a magic theme, and it was actually I remember it's one of the last boxes that I got, and I was going to cancel, and I was like, no, this box is too cool to not like I have to get this. Like,
How often would they send them to you?
once a month. So it's once a month, and you
Once
can
a month.
yeah, and you can choose to skip.
Okay.
You can choose to skip a box if you don't like the box.
And then you don't have to pay for that box?
Yeah, and I did that a
Cool.
few times. It's not that. It's actually not a bad deal. Like I this is sponsor us, Loot Crate. After I said I don't use your service anymore, but I would if you sponsored us. But anyhow, no, this is one of the shirts. Every box comes with a shirt or something that like is
Or your
equal
money
value. No, you in every box. I will
Equal
say
value to a shirt.
every box you do earn your money back for sure. I got a lot of cool things from those boxes. So
Yeah.
I it's definitely a good collector's thing. It is definitely something I could see you getting like 100%.
I just when I'm purchasing something, I want to make sure that although there are some cases where I was thinking too short term for that, but I want to like make sure I know where it's gonna go,
Yeah.
like before I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And the Loot Crate thing, because they would definitely send some like, the trinkets. Like I don't want trinkets.
Oh no, they give you trinkets. They give you like one.
Yeah, and
usually,
I'm not interested in trinkets.
Usually it's like one big thing, and then like the
Yeah.
shirt. The shirt's usually the big thing, and then they send you a bunch of little things that are just like smaller collector's items. Like one time,
Little things. I would rather even just have bigger things than little things, because little things, you have to find a spot.
yeah,
for
I know.
A bunch of
If
little
you wanna,
things to-
if you wanna pay more, I think they do like a bigger box, and it's like crazy. I'm getting way too much into. They don't sponsor us enough for this. They don't sponsor us at all, actually. But anyway, this shirt's from the Fantastic Beasts. This is when the first Fantastic Beasts movie came out, which the only good one, not the only good one. It's just well, yeah, it is actually the only good one. Second one's
interesting.
wasn't great from what I remember.
I think it's interesting.
We
for
didn't give it great reviews.
Lore, but I'm not going to say that it's good.
Yeah.
But they're filming the third one right now, actually. I don't know
Yeah.
if you knew that.
I didn't know it was in production back again. Oh, I guess yeah, that makes sense. Oh man, that's gonna be. We'll see. But anyhow, welcome to Film Juice, the show where we talk about movies, TV shows, shirts, on and off.
Loot crates. Shirts on and off.
On and off. Like,
Well, you keep your shirt on, please, Joe.
Okay, great.
And I'll do the same.
Fantastic. I'm your host, Joe.
Yes.
Joe Dorado.
And I'm Andrew. Yeah, well, people get really confused.
Between our names.
Joe DiMaggio is hosting this podcast. I'm Andrew.
Just Andrew?
Canada. And I am and I'm another host of the show as well. Joe hosts a show, and I am I'm I am a host as well. I also host a show.
We
And
yeah. Equal
yes,
hosts. We are the hosts.
sure.
Together we make
Sure.
hosts. Hosts plural. Okay. Oh
I think you
fuck.
put a little too much sauce on it at the end of there, Joe. I think I nailed it. And
Oh
then,
my god. You're telling me we wouldn't be a great improv comedy duo? Don't even try and tell me
Jesus
that
Christ,
right
Joe.
now. Dude,
I would be,
don't you dare insult me right now.
all
Don't
right,
insult our friendship. Don't do it.
I would never insult our friendship.
I think we would be amazing on stage as an improv comedy duo. Oh boy, he has to think about it.
How to reply to that?
We've talked about how my comedy routine would be terrible, but I think if I had you and like we bounced off each other, I think that would work.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we do a show.
Yeah, yeah. That would definitely work, actually. That
Yeah.
would work probably pretty well.
Yeah.
All right, you convinced me.
That's what I was.
Opening next month.
Oh, that'd be wild. So anyhow, let's get right into it. We got some crazy. I'm excited actually. We got a little bit of movie news, and then we got two movies that I'm super excited about. Before we actually get into that, let's intro what this episode is going to be about. This is the Spooktober Spooktacular. Second.
That's right.
The second.
Spooktacular Spooktober. That's correct.
Part 2, the second. And yeah, we are so excited to get to those movies. I'm so excited to get to those movies. So let's get right into the movie news here. Andrew, what do we got first?
First up, why don't we talk about the fact that theaters are opening up?
Yeah.
Where you are, and I
That's interesting.
think where I am. I'm not positive because they're supposed to be opening up today.
Yeah.
And they did not here, but maybe maybe next week is when it's like actually going to go down. But yeah.
I haven't seen any theaters actually open here, but
no, but they're
sure
they're going to confirmed.
Yeah. Yes. It's interesting. This is newer news for me. I would have to see personally. I'm curious to see what protocols are enforced. But along with that, I'm curious along with that, like I'm curious for myself and just for general sake. But either way, I won't be in a theater anytime soon. Like,
right.
It's just it's not gonna happen. Honestly, if I was being honest, I probably won't be like unless some crazy shit happens. Like early 2021, I don't see myself going in a theater. The earliest I could see myself going in a theater is like next summer, which is a bummer.
Sure.
That's probably
that's probably when everything's gonna be, for sure good to go.
Starting to get good to go,
right.
yeah. Or at least starting.
Right. Yeah.
At least starting, yeah.
Yeah.
So
and we've said that before, but I think that 18 months is pretty much about right.
Yeah. We did talk about that a little bit before. Yeah. What?
But yeah, I've been to like a bunch of restaurants and stuff since those have opened, so I've got no problem going to the theater. On that end, obviously you got to be careful. But with that in mind, I would be careful, and if you don't trust the people to wipe down the things that they're supposed to wipe down enough, then hopefully you can find some disinfectant wipes and bring your own and start wiping things down.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, I think.
Well, it's
Uh,
yeah. It's also like I don't know. It depend. I'm curious whether they'd have like, those special. I don't even know if they ended up like actually being confirmed to work. I'd like to think that they work, but the air like circulation or air. There's this thing that they put in
who knows?
malls, but
Yeah. Right.
I think that would be pretty essential for at least a movie theater, because I would also think it would be nice for a restaurant, but a restaurant I could see you getting away with it more, because a restaurant, um I've only done patio, but I know, like, when you go inside to eat, first of all, you're usually wearing your mask the whole time until you eat, and then if I'm right, I actually haven't, but you do you like, is that how they're doing it, like?
The the rule is you and this so you wear your mask unless you're sitting at the table.
Okay.
If you're sitting at the table, you don't have to wear it.
Okay. So the the I think it's like a little bit, it's just a little different, because um it's not, obviously still not super ideal, but it's a little different because the air circulating throughout the room, you're not like sitting in there for as long as you're sitting in a movie theater with a bunch of people
Well,
breathing.
I
Well,
don't know. It depends. I think
it
you
does
definitely
depend. But
could.
but
I think that sometimes you have a long meal and you're in there for
oh,
like 90 minutes.
you could. I'm not, you definitely could. I would, I personally wouldn't want to do that, but you definitely could do
So
that.
I think
Um
it's pretty similar.
yeah, but I would personally like to see, even though I think that would be a good thing for them to add, cuz that's a whole thing. Anyway, but
Yeah.
I, like I said, I personally won't
Right.
be doing it, but
Yeah.
it'll be
I'm
interesting to
going
see what they
to.
do.
Yeah. And you know, I think that they will certainly try their best to do it right. Most of these theaters, because they've been hurting so badly,
Mhm.
and they are one of the last things to open up. Um,
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to try to go as much as I can, um, to support the theaters, because they've been closed for so long and they really need it.
They have been
Um,
closed for a while.
and I'm luckily like that's something that I can like afford to do. Not, and I don't mean fiscally. I mean like, you know, without like being of like fear of exposure, or well, not necessarily but like fear of exposing some other people and like things like
Mhm.
that. So I'm lucky in that sense, and so I'm going to try and go as much as I can. Um, and I don't know how it's going to be the
Yeah.
first time going
Fair
back.
enough.
It's been so long since anybody's been
Yeah.
in a movie theater.
It has been a while. Yeah.
We used to go twice a week, man.
We did. Hopefully we'll be able to do that
Wild.
again in the near future. Um yeah, that'll be nuts. Oh, that's going to be tough. We're going to have to, yeah, cuz you might see, thankfully most of the big releases have been pushed back. So by
Mm.
time those come out, we should be on the same page there. But
Well, I'll bootleg them for you, and I'll send you the iPhone version.
dude, the vertical video of Dune. Let's do it.
I didn't
Oh,
watch that
that'd
because
be terrible. That would be
yeah,
terrible. No, but anyhow, yeah, so that's very interesting. That's very interesting. We'll definitely see. We're definitely one of the last places, I think, one of the last places to start like opening them up.
right.
Whether or not it's like,
Definitely in the Northeast for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. So yeah, we'll see how that. I mean, we'll see what happens with that. I don't know what new releases aren't getting delayed, so I'm really interested to see what.
Boy, well, they're definitely going to be showing a lot of classics. A lot of theaters
Yeah,
have already been doing that.
yeah. It might
So
just be
that's
like
good,
a
and it'll be cool to go
indoor
check out some
drive-in.
of those.
Yeah, it would be.
in the way that they like the classic movies like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I want to go to the drive-in like
indoor drive-in.
one
They're all
more.
indoor drive-in.
Yeah, true. I want to go to the drive-in. I think like one more time this year. Like they usually do like a cool maybe maybe next week. Because like I think next week might be one of the last weeks because they do like the Halloween stuff. So that'd be cool. Oh, drive-ins,
cool.
Drive-ins rock. So, anyhow, so yeah, that's a pretty huge thing. The next thing we got this. I want to save the best for last, so we'll go into this. We got this new Mank trailer and Mank poster. This is pretty nuts. So, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about it, but it's a new David Fincher film, directed by David Fincher, and it's going to be released on Netflix December 4th. And it's about, well, I don't know his full name. You said his full name.
Yeah, Herman Mankiewicz, who a lot of people don't know co-wrote Citizen Kane. Kind of gets overshadowed by the fact that Orson Welles, co-wrote, of course, directed and starred in that movie. But yeah, he co-wrote that movie, and he, gosh, it's been so long since I read about the making of that movie and about Herman Mankiewicz, but he, from what I understand, he was, he definitely had his share of troubles. But he was also, what I didn't get in the trailer, he was kind of from what I've read, not the easiest guy to get along with, and a little aggressive. And, there are definitely scenes where, or in the trailer that we see him looking a little disheveled and perhaps violent. It's hard to necessarily put some of that all together. But it comes across in the trailer as more as he's the victim of his own demons, as opposed to what I've read about him is that sometimes he could just be an asshole.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it comes across to other people that he's an asshole, right?
Oh, sure.
So that might.
Yeah. But that's just an interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see how it depicts him, and probably regardless of which narrative is true, however he's depicted in this movie is how he's going to be remembered forever, which is kind of crazy.
That is really crazy because there's never been a movie made about him. It's
right.
I mean, not to my knowledge.
It looks really cool, though.
It does look cool. David Fincher is obviously known for his art and like his art house films and his style with those movies. I'm not gonna lie, and I know people listening who are film buffs are gonna scoff, but I've never seen a David Fincher film. I know what's it called? Blue Velvet, is it called? That's like a huge one. There was another one that there's another title that if like someone said it of his movies, like I would know. Like there's another big one of his that I would definitely know. I'm pretty sure I've never seen one of his movies though. I might be wrong. Maybe I have, but I'm pretty sure I haven't. Either way. Oh, he did didn't he do Twin Peaks? The show?
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure. Hold on.
Now I'm curious.
Because so Blue Velvet is David Lynch, just to be.
Wait. David Fincher is 7.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Jesus, I was getting David Lynch and David Fincher mixed up. Oh my god. What a start. I like
classic Joe.
Dude.
Yeah, David, yeah.
Jesus Christ. I get them. It's so annoying.
Wait, have you never seen Oh, never, because okay. So you've never seen a David Lynch movie?
No, I've never seen a David Lynch movie. Mulholland Drive was the one Mulholland Drive is the other David Lynch movie that I haven't seen.
Okay.
Yeah, so
no, you've seen a lot of
David Fincher. I love David Fincher. Jesus Christ.
I thought so. I thought you did.
I get their last names mixed up because there's always whatever.
Because their first name is both David.
Yeah, it's embarrassing too because I love all of David Fincher's work that I've seen, but
yeah,
that's rough. That'll happen. It's been a long day.
Yeah, seriously. We're recording this much later than we normally do, folks.
That's true.
And I can't speak for Joe, but I'm tired.
Same. But we're getting through. We're trucking
So I think
along.
this is gonna be fun.
Yes, this is gonna be fun. I almost cracked open a beer, but I was like, nah, I'm not gonna risk. I'm not gonna.
Too risky. Too
risky because I'm already in shambles as it is. I don't need the devil's influence or what would.
You got it. The devil all the time.
The devil.
Now on Netflix. Delusions. Awesome.
Delusions. So, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, so now that we got that mix up out of the way, David Fincher is not known for making art house movies. He is known for just making really good movies, but he is known for his style, and his style is very good. He has a very distinct style that I love.
And this looks
very
quite different.
Yeah.
That's a lot of his more famous movies.
Can I be honest? That's why I kind of thought it was David Lynch, because it kind of looks like a David Lynch film. So I was like, oh, of course this is like David Lynch, but it wasn't. It was David Fincher. Oh man. It looks a lot of like one of his films though, so that's why I thought that. I think I will say I think the poster looks awesome. I don't know if you saw the poster, but I think the poster.
Yeah, the poster's really cool. I'm looking at it right now.
I'm a big fan of the poster.
Yeah, holy cow! I love that style.
Yeah, it's sick.
You guys listening and watching, I guess, because you can't see it, but it's a cool drawing. Man, the style's awesome. I do not like looking at his face in this drawing. It's incredibly off-putting.
Yeah,
and
I think it's
very upsetting.
Yeah.
If it was not for the facial expression in the poster, this is a poster that I would think would look very good on a wall.
Yeah. I can.
Good Lord, and I can't stop watching it. I'm being turned to stone as though it were Medusa.
If I get you that poster, you have to hang it up where you sleep.
Yes, that's the rule. Fair enough.
Oh, that'd be terrifying. What was I gonna say? But yeah, I don't know. It looks interesting. If I'm gonna be honest, it looks a little. I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. I don't. Knowing, if I'm being honest, I keep saying if I'm being honest, knowing that it's David Fincher now and not David Lynch, and I know David Fincher's work, and I like David Fincher's work, I'm actually a lot more looking forward to it than if it was just David Lynch. Not saying David Lynch doesn't make great movies. I know a lot of people love David Lynch. I just haven't seen one of his films, so it's harder for me to get excited about a David Lynch film than it is for a David Fincher film. But I don't know. It doesn't really reveal much, that's for sure. This trailer. Gary Oldman looks fucking wild. Like he doesn't look like Gary Oldman. So he transforms, man. He's nuts. It's crazy how he transforms. He's like...
It's true. I think his transformations are a little underrated. Maybe he just has one of those faces that kind of,
Yeah. I heard he's great.
Melds into things.
I heard he's great as Dracula. I haven't seen that movie, but I really want to see that movie.
Oh, yes.
I heard he's amazing.
About that.
That might be the next one.
Oh, yeah. I bet he kills that one.
That might be the next one we do. But
Yeah.
but yeah. Is there anything else in the trailer that caught your eye?
I think that what's interesting is the movie Citizen Kane
Mm-hmm.
obviously was kind of a shot at William Randolph Hearst.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and from the trailer, it seems like that idea was real. It looks like it was really all Mankiewicz, basically.
Yeah,
That's what I got out of it.
that's
Um,
true. It's gonna
and
be.
that's the whole core of the movie. So that's huge because
Yeah.
again, like we said, Citizen Kane, everybody, Orson Welles immediately, Orson Welles across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but those are, I think that the fellow who plays Orson Welles does an okay job at his voice. It's a hard voice to get just right.
It
I would
really
say it's so
is.
distinctive.
He kind of looks like
Um,
him though.
such a great voice. He looks a little like him. That's the other thing I was going to say. He looks okay like him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that people familiar with Orson Welles uh, are. It's going to be very difficult
Oh yeah.
to believe you're seeing somebody else as him on screen because he's so distinctive, and the guy really had this essence about him, for better or
Yeah.
worse, even in his later years,
Very big
that
shoes.
came across. Yeah. Um,
I would not want that
so
role.
that
That'd be crazy.
yeah, it would be crazy. It'd be really cool though.
Yeah.
But I bet you'll do a good job. There's definitely a lot there.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
It seems.
yeah, that's the stuff that struck me initially.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It,
yeah, I think the
yeah.
Citizen Kane and the parts where he interacts with Orson Welles, I wouldn't be surprised if those are the best parts of the movie.
I hope
Um,
so. I hope
yeah, I
so.
think they'll probably be really good.
I wonder how.
And
I think it'll be really weird to see like Orson Welles low key be overshadowed in his own in something that Orson Welles is
right,
supposed to be
right. Flip the old script,
in. Yeah, I think that's
Flip the
that's
old script to history. Yeah.
it's a very interesting way to look at it.
Yeah.
It looks very noirish. Um, the trailer does.
I can see that in a few ways, yeah.
Like the sound effects, the transition, like it reminded me a lot of a noir, and I was like, that's weird because like obviously this movie like I don't see it really being a noir. Like not even how it's shot. Like it's just it's black and white, but it's not like harsh shadows. I mean, there's some
Yeah.
harsh shadows, but like
And there were quite a few exteriors in the trailer too.
yeah. So yeah, it's not really that. It's more along the lines of the sound effects, honestly. The sound effects and like the way the trailer was presented with the narrator, that was the I was like, "Oh, this is like just reminds me of like a what's that? Oh God, what's that one we watched? What's that one we watched with
The Maltese Falcon.
the Maltese Falcon? It's kind of like it reminds me of that a little bit with trailer wise.
Great
So
movie.
it is a good movie. But anyhow, that's Mank. Definitely look at the trailer. Also look at the poster. The poster I think is actually way cooler. It's such a cool poster. So definitely check that out. And yeah, we'll check that out for sure on December 4th. But anyhow, let's get into the next bit of movie news. What do we got next?
Which one do you want to talk about? I know you said you wanted to save.
I want to save the one I texted you about for last.
Okay, so this was weird.
Mm-hmm.
This they're gonna do some reshoots.
Yeah. Well, we
for
knew
the Snyder Cut in order to include Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah.
This is weird for a couple reasons. I think one, I could not guess in a million years where that's going to fit in to this movie. That's already, obviously it's going to be very long, but it's already so packed with things.
Yep.
And also, we haven't seen Jared Leto's Joker since Suicide Squad. We haven't heard anything about the character or him playing that character in future films since then either. And the other thing, when Jared Leto was doing that performance, there were all kinds of stories about how he was very method and
oh my God,
freaked out a lot of his cast members and stuff like that. So with these, I assume that he's gonna be in this movie. It's not gonna be a lot, so probably won't be too many days of shooting for him. And is he gonna go full Joker mode to do those reshoots, or to do these reshoots, or what is the deal gonna be, man?
Well, did I tell you my theory? Well, this isn't my theory. This is a theory that I feel like a lot of people. This is one that I've heard and I've seen, and this is one that I agree with. That I think that a lot of other people also agree with. I think the whole Jared Leto going method, like all the stories that came out, I think that was all just fucking publicity. I'm not saying he didn't go into the role, but
interesting.
I don't think he actually. You can't tell me
like sent Will Smith a rat.
They might have, but like it wasn't like him getting into character. It was just a gimmick, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So like,
okay.
I not only did his performance with that character not I didn't love it, especially over time. That performance went right downhill over time. Oh
yeah, for sure.
Even more so now that we have Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, which, like, if you wanna say, like, I that even proves, like, my theory even more. Like, I cannot see, like, I cannot take Jared Leto saying that he is method acting as the Joker seriously when when we just saw Joaquin Phoenix do that shit, and that was like, whew. So I don't know, man. I'm not the biggest fan of his Joker. I think it's just Jared Leto trying to be the Joker. It's not the Joker.
Yep. That's a good way to put it.
And it's so weird to see because all I see is Jared Leto being weird. And Jared Leto's just such a weird guy. And I don't know if we've talked about Jared Leto before. I don't know if I like the guy. I don't know if I like his vibe. He's just, I don't know. He has the whole thing with the cults.
Blade Runner. Oh, I don't know about that. But I don't know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that in a second.
Okay.
But in Blade Runner 2049, I'm pretty sure I remember being completely enthralled with his performance in that movie.
Yes. He has some good performances for sure. But like that one I really liked as well. But I will say, so the cult thing, really quickly, he has his own island. Where him, it's not a cult is like a word that, like, has been used in the, like, articles and stuff, but like it probably isn't a cult. I mean, I don't know, I am not there, but a cult is probably an over exaggeration. But basically he owns this island, and for a large amount of money, you can go out to one of his retreats on that island. He hosts these crazy long retreats, and you can be a follower of Jared Leto, and they have a name for themselves, and like they wear these white robes. It's fucking weird, dude. It's really fucking weird, and they do these weird ceremonies, and like, I don't know, man. I seen pictures, and it's like, what the fuck who is Jared Leto? Who is this man? He goes from 32nd to Mars to being the Joker to being a like weird leader on this island. I don't know. Anyway, it's very strange. That's a side
He's a
tangent.
triple threat.
Honestly, holy shit. Anyhow, that's a side tangent aside. Yeah, can't say I'm very excited. We knew they were gonna do reshoots for this already. I think
Right.
they were gonna do but obviously we didn't know about the Joker being in it. It's so weird that the Joker's gonna be in this and not the new Suicide Squad either.
The new Suicide Squad.
That's just,
I don't know, man.
dude.
That's the thing. I have no idea.
And you know,
There's rumors that Ben Affleck is going to do a Batman series for HBO Max.
what?
So, as far as the DC properties go, nobody gives a fuck. They're just like throwing shit at a wall and seeing if it sticks.
Oh my
It's wild.
God, that is wild. I didn't know
We
that.
could get some really cool stuff out of it, though.
No,
but we'll
we
also probably
could.
get some garbage.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I don't think any of it's going to be cohesive.
No,
Which sucks.
it does suck. Oh man, it's a shame. Oh man. But I will say one more thing about it before we move on to our last thing of movie news. I think Joaquin, if the news came out today, and I'm not saying that this would ever happen, but if the news came out today, the same headline, but instead of Jared Leto, it was Joaquin Phoenix, I can't tell you how much more excited I would be. I would actually be excited.
I mean, that'd be very cool, but
I think
Phoenix's Joker just doesn't fit in that movie, I don't think.
I agree, but like I would just seeing him on screen with those characters would just be cool, and it would be really interesting to see where his character is in that point in that time. But at the same time, I'm not saying it would really work, but if they were to have a Joker that, you know, could be that character right now, I would not pick Jared Leto's. And that is what I have to say about that. See, I don't know. You know what's weird? And I don't know if you noticed this too. Isn't it weird that last week we got the news about Jamie Foxx doing Electro again? And now...
Right, yeah.
Like, why is this happening? Come on. It's weird. But anyhow, let's get into the last bit of movie news here. Oh man, dude, crazy stuff. So the Uncharted movie, which is based off of the Sony Naughty Dog games, AAA titles. There are 4 of them, and they all follow this. Kind of Indiana Jones adventure. Adventure is the word I was looking for, but he's kind of like an Indiana Jones type-ish character. Nathan Drake is his name, and it basically follows Nathan Drake. All the games follow different adventures, but basically he's like a treasure hunter. Kind of. Like, actually, no, he is a treasure hunter. And that is, and, you know, things happen. So...
Is the greatest treasure friendship?
Exactly.
I don't want to spoil the games for anyone.
But, there's, like, really cool treasures that they get into in the game, and it's great. But they've been in talks about a movie for so long, because this movie has been in developmental hell forever. Like, ever since, I think, the 3rd game came out, which is, like, 2013, maybe even earlier. Like, it's been a while. Maybe it's not 2013, but it's somewhere around there, I think. But anyhow, the games have massive success. A lot of people like them. I love them. So I've been very much looking forward to this movie. It was in developmental hell for a while, and then there was that short film that came out with Nathan Fillion as Nathan as Nathan Drake, and that blew up. And then everyone was like, "Oh, this has to become a thing." And then there was more talks about the movie, and then people found out Nathan Fillion wasn't going to be Nathan Drake, and were all super bummed because, God, he's the perfect character. He's the perfect actor for that role. But then we got the news that Tom Holland is going to be Nathan Drake, and that is if Nathan Fillion can't be Nathan Drake, I think Tom Holland is honestly one of the next best like actors for that role. And actually, after seeing the photos today that were released on set of it being in production, him in character, I'm already sold. That's all I had to see. I was like, oh, okay. There's Nathan Drake.
He does. I've never played the games.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the commercials for him and stuff.
They're really cool.
But Tom Holland, he looks excellent in this picture.
Yeah.
That you sent me earlier from the set.
He really does.
Yeah, he looks really good as this. And, you know, it's funny. I didn't know about the Nathan Fillion stuff, but whenever I would see the trailers for the Uncharted games and stuff, and I knew they were going to make a movie or whatever, I was like, oh, that's like a Nathan Fillion character, that guy.
You know what's fun? After we do this, I'll have to send you, it's like a 10-minute short film on YouTube. It's amazing. You'd love it. But anyhow, so they, so now they're in production. Nolan North, the voice actor and the mocap actor for Nathan Drake, there's a picture of them together on set talking. So he obviously has a pretty huge hand in this whole movie, which I hope he does at least. It's as what it's
very cool.
It is very cool because he's like, and I'm sure he's also giving like it looks like in the photo that he's like talking to, like, I'm sure he's like kind of talking to Tom Holland, and they're talking about like they've talked about character development and stuff. Like I'm sure that's part of it. It's gonna be, I don't know, man. I'm really excited. I think this movie, I texted you it, and I'm not saying it's gonna be like, you know, the same thing, because there's no way it could ever be the same thing. But I think this is the closest thing to like a modern day Indiana Jones type movie that we could ever get.
Yeah, it's difficult not to make that comparison.
Yeah.
I think it depends on. It just depends on the writing, I guess.
Oh, it does.
And the adaptation of, you know, from a video game, because so many video game adaptations try to keep that video game essence in their movies, which is cool, I guess. I get the idea, but it doesn't normally work. That's the one thing that it took that Tomb Raider movie down a couple notches.
Yeah.
For sure, was they tried to do that sort of thing.
I will say two things. One thing, you make an excellent point, because you can't just go with these movies with the cast and be like, oh, that movie's gonna be great, because, you know, video game adaptations are notoriously have a rocky history.
Right.
Because, I mean, I think the last, like, decent one that I saw was Warcraft. And that was a while ago.
Oh my God, Joe, what?
You know
what? I didn't see that movie.
Okay. You can't. I liked it.
What about Detective Pikachu?
Oh, Detective Pikachu. That kind of counts, but yeah, that counts. But if we're
counting it.
Okay.
I'm chalking it up.
But I actually don't hate Warcraft. It's not great, but I didn't hate it. Because I am actually a fan of that series. But anyhow, so the big thing that comes to mind is Assassin's Creed. Had Michael Fassbender as the lead of that movie. It had a huge... Jeremy Irons was in it. It was a huge, huge cast. And then it sucked. So, and I could blame that entirely on the writing. So, what I will say is you make an excellent point, and I am going to keep that in mind, and that you, like, I don't want to, like, get too excited for this movie when that has happened. But, at the same time, this movie, I think the writers of Naughty Dog are actually, like, I can't confirm this, but I think if they're not writing this movie, they're at least contributing very heavily to the movie's writing. Like, I can't see them not overseeing the writing, since their games are so much of their games are writing and good writing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what draws you in, is the story of the games. So I have a very good feeling that they're gonna do a great job. They're also going to be doing, Naughty Dog is also going to be doing, I don't know if you saw this, but they're also going to be doing a Last of Us series on HBO. A TV series, which I don't know if you're familiar with The Last of Us, but it's like a post-apocalyptic, kind of like world, kind of like zombies, but it's a little different. Really cool. Great game. Great story. Very excited to see how that looks. Anyhow, yeah, I'm very excited though, to say the least. And yeah, it's gonna be really cool. Definitely check out that picture on Twitter or whatever if you haven't seen it yet, because it looks cool. It's only one photo, but it looks sick. But yeah, very excited for that. Sorry for the little rant there. Just I didn't think we'd see it.
I'm glad that you know about it, because that picture makes you want to see the movie, and so I'm glad that you know a lot about that property, because I know nothing about it.
I didn't think we'd see.
But I think that, checking out that picture will make people want to go see that movie.
Yeah.
For many different reasons. Am I right, Tom Holland? What? I have no idea. Woo.
I haven't seen what was I gonna say? I haven't seen nope, I lost it. Had something to do with something. I'm not even gonna try to grab it because we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
Let's go into this this first movie here. I'm super excited. The Spooktacular begins. That's the movie news. Let's get right into the spooktacular-ness of this episode with the first segment.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, take it away.
I can feel it coming all the way. First movie is a brand new Halloween movie. And I don't know when the last time a Halloween movie came out, like a big one, not like a Disney Channel movie, that was a Halloween movie, but not really a horror movie.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. But it's Hubie Halloween.
Tricks.
Halloween's upon us!
Is he a good guy?
Hubie Dubois is the nicest guy in this town.
Here are some happy Halloween word searches. You can pass it out to the kids.
Thank you so much.
As a trained volunteer, I know what it's like when the spooky fun gets out of hand. Officer D, no. The supermarket's selling expired bacon. Janet at the library has not been herself lately. I heard a voice in the sewer.
I'm sorry, I didn't recognize him.
It's pretty impressive how long he's been a loser. Oh, messing with Hubie Dubois. Murder! A Salem tradition.
You gotta expect a scare here or there.
There's something off in this town.
Mr. Lambert?
It's an Adam Sandler Netflix movie. Man, I don't know how many movies he's done for Netflix now.
He's done a lot. He had that whole package deal.
Well, Yeah, he had that package deal. That original one was for 6 movies, so I wonder if they've extended it already, because it feels like we've already had 6.
I've had a lot. I've actually haven't really seen
Ridiculous 6. The new Missy that came out recently, the Do-Over, the day before, Sammy Wexler, and this one.
Oh.
I'm sure there's another one in there, but this might be 6. I feel like there's one that centers on Kevin James.
There might be.
Oh boy, I can't remember. Well, anyways, this one, of course, stars Adam Sandler and Julie Bowen. It's written by Tim Herlihy, who was a Saturday Night Live writer back in the day, and Adam Sandler.
Yes.
If you're not familiar. So Sandler plays a fella named Hubie Dubois, who is kind of like a man-child in some ways. He's definitely the joke of the town, but he's very kind, and he takes safety very seriously. He lives with his mom, and so it's sort of his self-appointed job to care for the town, make sure the town is safe, keep a watchful eye out where the police can't. And so Halloween is a very big night for him, as it's a night famously associated with hijinks. Hubie don't do no hijinks. Can't believe that wasn't the tag. Missed out on that. So Hubie on this particular Halloween is doing his typical monitored, quote unquote duties. And then something actually mysterious starts to happen. There seems to be some real malice going around the town. Is it criminal? Is it supernatural? Strange things are happening, and foul play is most certainly afoot. And it's up to Hubie to get to the bottom of it.
Hell yeah. That was a great
Hell
intro.
yeah, indeed.
That was a great intro. That was fucking awesome.
So this movie.
Oh man.
So when we look at some recent Sandler projects from over the years, what I would say are the what the hell are the names of those movies? The grown-ups period of Sandler's, which I like both the grown-ups movies.
Really?
First one's definitely better, but I like both the grown-ups movies. Oh yeah. But where it's kind of more like blatantly geared towards children, with like very silly fart jokes and things like that.
Yeah.
Kind of like over the top slapstick.
Yeah, it's
I would say
very slapstick.
It's not like Jerry Lewis slamming his hand in a door. It's like Adam Sandler getting catapulted into a tree, right?
Yeah.
So with this movie, it feels to me like there's less of that than in a lot of his recent projects. There are some moments in this movie that really, really shine through. And in parts of it, it felt to me almost like an older Sandler movie.
Yes.
And then these parts, and then these other parts that I was just speaking to, the sort of grown-ups period elements, were kind of peppered in there, sometimes jarringly so. But that might be on me a little, because I would just get so into it and get very excited at the potential of parts of this movie becoming so much like that. Not even classic Sandler, but just like classically funny.
Yeah.
Like very funny. I'm not going to put that on him, because he doesn't owe us anything. But then you'd have something that kind of brought it back into the movie for kids and
Yeah.
those kind of shape. But there are definitely moments of this movie, and there are like right off the bat, there's a Happy Gilmore reference, and there's Billy Madison reference that kind of goes throughout this movie too. So that was kind of cool to see. It for me, it definitely didn't feel like they were trying to like use it as a crutch. Like, hey, remember this? It did feel like kind of just like cool Easter eggs a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
although they were, not so much Easter eggs because they weren't hidden, but you know what I mean. References too.
No.
They felt really cool.
Yeah, I didn't think they were heavy-handed at all. Like, it didn't bother me. Like, I also, like, I'm not gonna lie, I think I might have missed one of those. But I'm also not as well-versed in... I've seen those movies, I just haven't seen them in so long. So I think
that brings me to this. I mean, this whole movie poses the biggest question. Is this the ASCU, the Adam Sandler Cinematic Universe?
Yeah, that'd be funny. Oh my god, I love the Adams. Yeah.
If they're all connected.
Yeah, oh god, that's such a good, like... I love that, like, that idea is great. It's a great idea. Like... It's so funny. I don't know where to start with this movie. I'm not gonna lie. So I want to start with things I liked about the movie, which is a good amount. The cast of this movie is the first thing that threw me off. The cast of this movie is fucking crazy. Holy shit. I was like, okay, so this is going to be an Adam Sandler movie. There's going to be like, Rob Schneider's probably going to be in it. Maybe David Spade. Maybe, which surprisingly not. Maybe like, just, there's going to be the usual suspects. But like, no like crazy big guys. No, there's a lot. Not just like one or two. There's like a lot. Every like adult in this movie is like an A-lister. Like, it's fucking crazy. Like, the first scene of the I can't even spoil who's in the first scene of the movie because it's not in the trailer. And it's like a surprise. But like, I will say I was a little disappointed that actor was only in that bit because
that part, no, that's the way it had to be, man. That part, it was so good.
Just him in that moment, though, like, was so good that I can only imagine how like great his character would have been. Like,
you don't need to, Joe. Sometimes it's okay to just enjoy one scoop of ice cream. You don't have to eat the whole gallon.
God damn it.
Or pint.
I like pints.
I'm sure you do.
No, but I just really like that actor, and it kills me that I can't say who it is, because it's clearly you're not supposed to know, like, that he's in the movie. Like, I don't think, they don't show it in the trailer. But they are really good in this movie, for the small amount they are in it, and it was awesome. It was a great intro, and I love the intro of this movie is the first thing I wanted to say.
Yeah.
I think the intro of this movie is fantastic. It really sets the tone, but that doesn't mean to say that there aren't multiple clashing tones in this movie, where that's when it kind of gets a little messy, at some parts. But I'll get into, I want to say, like, some more, I want to say, like, at least another positive. So the cast was nuts. Like, there's Kevin James, that, like, there's some that I can say without spoiling. Like, there's Kevin James, Noah, Kenan Thompson. Okay, yeah, Kenan Thompson, Noah, Schnapp? Noah, is that his last name, right? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right.
From Stranger Things.
Yeah. He's like the kid in the movie that,
Schnapp. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
I've never said it out loud before. Also, Sandler's kids are both of the
Oh, I didn't know
girls in
that.
this movie are his real life daughters.
Oh, what?
Well, the one looks exactly like him.
Oh, you're
So I was like,
right.
oh, is
How did
that
I
her?
not notice that? That's actually very true.
I have no idea.
And there's actually there's a bunch more like big names
Ray
in this
Liotta,
movie. Yes.
June Squibb,
There's
Kenan Thompson.
Yeah, you said Kenan Thompson. There's one guy that There's one guy that that I didn't write down that I am definitely forgetting, and I can't believe I didn't write his name down. Because I liked his character, and I haven't seen him in a movie in a while. He's always in the mob movies. Is
Michael Chiklis?
Yeah, I was like, what's he doing in this movie? But he was in the movie, and he
likes to have a good time.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. But yeah, crazy cast, and I want to say the music in this movie. I really like the music in this movie. It's like,
agreed.
It's just it's nostalgic Halloween music, but I think it always fits. Like, it always fits the scene when it's on. Like, it never feels like crammed in there, like some Halloween movies can make it. Like, it seems very like well, used. So that was nice. And obviously, Adam Sandler. He goes really all in this movie. I do have some like notes about his character, but
okay.
he goes hard for sure. And then one other thing before I throw it to you, there were some reminders. Reminders for me. I don't know if you felt this. There were like some weird like reminders to me of like Better Off Dead. Weirdly enough. I don't know if you got some of that vibe. I got some Better Off Dead vibes though, with one specific, two specific instances, that are like kind of recurring. Not only was the instance,
yes, okay.
Not only was the instance like kind of low key reminding me of like an homage, but of like something that happens in Better Off Dead, but the fact that it kept happening, I also like that kind of like made me be like,
it's a little screwball-y in that way that's still somewhat cemented in realism.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, so I got those. So that was like a nice, like, I was like, oh, I'm getting some like getting some Better Off Dead vibes. Not like, a whole lot, but like that's like definitely there. Sprinkled in there. But yeah, what did you think of this movie? What did you like?
Well, I think this movie does a lot of things well, especially establishing the setting. It feels, you get a sense of this town immediately.
Yeah.
And you have no trouble believing it. You're just, okay, we know exactly what this type of town is, and that kind of helps us understand the relationship between all the people. Like, they definitely all went to high school together and that sort of thing, which we certainly find to be true. I liked Hubie a lot. Yeah, I liked him a lot. He was a fun guy.
Yeah.
This is far away from anything, but this is just something that I could not avoid noticing, and I tried to ignore it. But then it kept happening, and I was like, "No, I don't know if you will get this one."
Yeah.
I'm interested. If this is what you're thinking, then I'd be like, okay, but it's got to do with Julie Bowen's character,
which is
who plays the love interest.
Oh,
she plays Violet Valentine.
We also forgot Steve Buscemi. Okay, anyway.
Steve Buscemi, yep, he's in it. Her performance.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, she's the love interest for Hubie. Her performance is very horny. There's no other way that I can put that's as accurate. It's weird too, because
Yeah.
Hubie Dubois, obviously super nice man,
Yeah.
but he's not like, he's no stud muffin.
Yeah.
And the way that her character is interested in
Mm-hmm.
is
It's off-putting.
not just infatuated,
Mm-hmm.
but there's obviously something physical in her attraction to Hubie that just, I'm like, okay, but where is that?
Well,
so now thinking about it, that's really, really funny. But but when I was watching the movie, I was like, oh my God, this woman is keeping your pants.
Well, this is the thing, and I agree with the same thing. I think that I definitely agree with you there. I think that, yeah, when you're like, it is like, that's definitely what I think they were going for, and I think it is like it's a funny idea, but and like it's not like it's impossible for someone to be phically attracted to Hubie, or it's not like it's not like.
Oh, okay, yeah, yes, of course.
No,
I'm just surprised that it took you so long to get to that point. Like, yes, of course. Certainly.
No. So like that's not the thing. It's like it's like insanely like over the top. Like, it's not like she finds him attractive. It's like she wants to fuck him in the restaurant.
Your babies, Hubie. Yeah.
Like there was a scene at a restaurant, and I was like, "Lady, there is soup, and there are people all around. Like, you need to calm it."
But again, in retrospect, that's hilarious.
But
and she does a great job too.
Yeah,
Julie Bone, really good.
Yeah, but watching the movie, I will say, in retrospect, like talking about it, it's funny. But when I was watching it, I didn't find it funny. I found it just like,
I was like, what is going on?
I just didn't really it
because in the moment,
it just seemed too much.
I didn't get the sense. In the moment, it didn't feel as self-aware as I think it actually is. So I was laughing. I was chuckling at it in the moment, being like, "Why is she doing this? What is going on?" Yeah. Now, in retrospect, it's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
It's very funny.
Yeah, that might be that's probably what it was. And like in retrospect, that is like that does change it. But yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's interesting. While we're on the topic of self-aware, this is a huge thing with this movie that I have a feeling we might disagree on a little bit.
Oh boy.
So this movie is in a very weird spot where I am in the position where when I was watching it, especially at first, I was like, okay, this movie is going to be, very silly. I mean, it is very silly, but it's going to be like, it's going to be very ridiculous. It's going to be very over the top. And it's going to be like, it's going to be self-aware. Like at the start of this movie, I was like, this is a movie that Adam Sandler, this seems, in the beginning, I was like, this is like a parody of his other movies almost. That's
very interesting, right?
When I watched during the first part of the movie, like that's what was going through my mind. And then as the movie went on, I started to go back and forth. And now I'm not sure, but I'm almost at the place right now where I'm like, I can't tell if the movie was just, going for that self-aware parody kind of thing where it's so over the top and it's like making fun of his other movies, or not making, you know. Or if this movie is kind of just using that as a crutch while all of these over-the-top things are happening that happen in Adam Sandler movies, but some of them aren't really working. And they're just so... And that's what happened as the movie went on, because there are some things that happen, I guess I would say, end of first act, beginning of second act. That's when I started noticing, like, things that were like, okay, what's... Like, I don't know what's happening. Like, this is, like... I can't... It's so hard to explain, like, the feeling... But, like, when I was watching it, it just didn't... When I was watching it, the more it went on, the more I was like, this doesn't feel like they're like, it doesn't feel like they're parodying it or they're being super self-aware anymore. Now it just seems like it's a silly, kind of dumb movie. Not, like, a smart... I'm not saying it has to be smart, but, like...
Sure.
Do you know what I'm trying to get at? Like...
I think so, and I really... That's interesting, but ultimately I'm not sure it's either of those things. I think that, you know, they just tried to... I think they just tried to write a movie. And this is what they got, you know what I mean? But again, there are those moments that one could argue are a little cheaper, or, you know, but I was so excited to see the parts that weren't. I think the parts that weren't were really well done.
I agree.
They were really funny, and ultimately I was entertained by this movie, and I think that is kind of all you can ask from it. Just in every aspect. I mean, the actors that are in it, the characters that they play,
the performances,
the way
are good.
this movie is shot. Oh yeah, the performances are certainly good. It's just you know, it's just a movie that, whether they succeeded or not in some aspects, and I'm sure they did that more in some than in others, they just wanted to entertain you. And I got it as enough entertainment out of this movie for, you know, what I expected from it, I guess.
I think when you were talking about the shots in this movie, I also wanted to point out the lighting in this movie in some shots is actually really good. They have some... Oh, yeah. There are some moments where the lighting in this movie, I was like, oh, I did not expect the movie to look like that. Like, I didn't expect it to look like... There's some really nice looking shots. Like, it gets the atmosphere well. And, you know, there are a few parts where they have to get kind of a more spooky tone. And the lighting definitely... And, like, the shot and the setting, like, definitely helps with that. So they did a good job on that. They didn't have to do that good of a job, but I think the fact that this is a Halloween movie, like, that definitely helped it out a lot. I want to say one thing about I'll say a positive about Hubie's character and a negative I have about Hubie's character. Positive I have about Hubie's character: the thermos is the best thing in the entire movie. That thermos is the coolest. I won't say what the thermos does, but all you gotta know is that thermos it steals the show.
Sure.
And how Hubie uses that thermos every time.
He's a pro.
I'm telling you, dude, that's the best thing in the entire movie. That whole bit. Every time they had that bit on, I was like, okay, I'm back in it. Like, this is great. Like, that could have been an SNL sketch. Like, I could have saw that, like, it's so funny. So it's just such a weird thing, but it's like perfect for that character. Like, you know, like, and the way they build it up too, I just like it's, you know, they start small with it, but then it gets like,
Yeah.
I just love that
Yeah.
part. So yeah, I thought that was great. A negative I have about his character, something I didn't really care for. I don't think you'll agree with me here, and that's completely fine. But obviously, this character is not a character Adam Sandler hasn't played before. Adam Sandler has played characters like this many, many times. And that's fine. Like, you know, you can play the same type of character more than one time. But this character, more so than other characters of the same variety that he's played, this character to me just seemed like such a blatant copy of the Waterboy, the Waterboy's character. It seemed so similar. Like, it's not even like, it wasn't like they're just both like, you know, like silly and
They have the same voice.
They have the same voice. They have the same voice.
They have very similar voices. There's a subtlety.
No, there is a. You're right. You're right.
So but the voice makes it very difficult not to make that comparison.
It was so hard, and I was like, it wasn't even just that though. It was like there's so many like, you know, he's kind of the same like character. He has the same thing going for him for the most part. Not the football thing, but like, you know, and this is an Adam Sandler archetype, and that's fine. But he's the underdog, and he, you know, no one really likes him. Everyone makes fun of him. It just, man, this movie just seemed so much like that movie, except this movie was Halloween and that movie was football. Like, not even just the character, like the story, like the structure of the movie seemed so similar. And it threw me off because I'm like I understand, like, you make these kind of movies and like your movies have a style, like Adam Sandler movies do have a style to them, obviously. But this one just seemed so similar, and it just I don't know, I just didn't like it. It kind of,
well, look, there is an uncanny similarity between them. You can see that right from the trailer. But if you boil it down completely, the driving force of Bobby Boucher, the Waterboy, is dealing with his anger. And the driving force of Hubie is dealing with his kindness.
That's true. That is true.
I think that they, and like you said, they're on similar paths and that they're the underdogs and that sort of thing. But I think Hubie is a more confident person, and I do think that, what I just referenced, that's a pretty big difference, and I think that it distinguishes them enough from each other that I was not, in watching this movie, I was not distracted in thinking that I was watching The Waterboy.
That, that's actually a really good point. That is definitely something I overlooked. I will say one more thing about oh man, I was on it. One more thing about Hubie's character in this movie. Oh my god, it had something to do with Adam Sandler movies. And what he does it in, so the other thing I want to say before we go any further, and I think you're already getting glimpses of this, but I definitely had higher expectations going into this movie. And maybe that's on me, but I was really, I wanted this to be like an old Adam Sandler movie, which obviously there are a lot of things that are like that in it. But I also wanted it to be like, I don't know. I think I was just expecting it to be like a little bit less, is kiddish the word? I don't like.
I think that is sufficient enough to get your point across. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
I know what you mean by it.
Yeah, there are just parts in the movie like that like, I was just hoping that it was gonna not go to that point, but it did, which is fine. Like, I get it, but I just, and I don't know. I was really, I think I was definitely expecting a little bit more. And I will also say, this is a little disclaimer, I definitely think I enjoy Adam Sandler comedy movies a little differently than you do. Maybe even a lot differently. Where I've never been a huge fan of his newer ones where he plays like the idiot or like this kind of character. I like, obviously The Waterboy or Billy Madison, I think that's the one I'm trying to reference. Like those kind of movies, like I love those, but like the newer ones that have incorporated that, I don't really care for those. But there are some like newer ones that I do love of his, like I think I just like more of his like more romantic comedy ones, like that where he's not playing.
Some of those are so great.
Where he's not playing like the silly, like he's playing a silly guy, but he's not really playing this kind of character. He's playing like a different kind of Adam Sandler.
He's playing more of like a regular person than like
a
full character.
And I think I just enjoy that a little bit more, personally.
That's understandable.
So that's just a disclaimer. So if you are listening to this and you're hearing like some of my criticisms, just know that this is already a movie that like isn't super geared toward me. I did like it, but I definitely had higher expectations going into it, and that definitely lowered the movie down for me because of that. Because I had higher expectations and I wasn't really met there. Especially, and I know this is very unfair, but after seeing Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems, going from that to this was so difficult for me, because that's the last movie I saw him in. So I was like, it was a little, and that's not his fault. That's not the movie's fault either. That's just a mindset thing. That was just something that it was tough for me to get over that. Anyhow, rant over on that, but that was one thing that that was in my mind when I was watching this movie.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you want to say? I have one more.
Go for it. Nope, go ahead. No, I've got basically everything I wanted to say in.
Okay, I just wanted to say I think the structure of the movie, that's the biggest part where it fell, like, other than what I just said, which, is a lot more subjective. I think the structure of this movie kind of gets messy during, and I mentioned it, but during the Act 1 to Act 2 phase. This movie's 2 hours long. It does not need to be 2 hours long. This movie is like, they could have cut 30 minutes from this movie so easily. There is a half an hour of this movie it's not like it's spurred throughout. There's actually just a whole half an hour segment of this movie that I would have just reordered and taken some parts out, because the beginning of this movie, after the initial beginning and the introduction, it drags. It there's a segment where it drags, not the rest of it, but there's a segment in right when I got past, I'd say right when I got to the halfway point of this movie, I started enjoying it so much more. But the the right from the 30-minute mark to the hour mark, it was going by real slow. It was I don't know, it was a lot. There's a lot of context dialogue in there, and it was tough. And obviously this movie is a lot, you know, it has a lot of Adam Sandler Adam Sandler devices in it, and like, you know, his dialogue is one of those things, and this is no exception. But sometimes I think it just goes a little too heavy on the context stuff. I think they could have just maybe done away with a little bit of that. But yeah, I don't know. It's a fun movie though. I agree. It's definitely entertaining. I just think different people are gonna enjoy this movie to a varying degree, but I don't think
without a doubt.
I think
everybody's gonna see this movie quite differently.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad movie in any sense. I just think it's, you know, it's parts that are hit or miss, you know. There are some bits that are so funny. We were talking about a bit before, and it's great. Like, Kevin James is my other favorite character.
Kevin James is I really liked him in this movie.
I've never seen Kevin James do a character like this, and I was very pleased. He actually stood out. Because not only did it take me like 2 seconds to realize it was Kevin James, like it took me, like, obviously I knew it was Kevin James like after 2 seconds, but it's better than knowing it's Kevin James after 0 seconds. That 2 seconds makes a difference. But yeah, he was great. He was great. But anyhow, that I'm good on this if you are.
Yep, let's rate her.
Okay. I guess I'll go first. I'm going to give this movie, oh man. I'm going to give this movie, and I know you're probably going to say this is low, but this is just how I think this movie scores. I'm going to give this movie 6.5 juice boxes out of 10.
No, I'm actually going to give it the exact same. I think that this movie is a solid 6.5 juice boxes, everything considered. I think you get basically exactly what you want out of it. Mm-hmm. Maybe it tosses some things in there that don't really benefit it. But it moves away from them pretty quickly in most of those instances. And like I said, you can tell that, you know, it's just there to entertain, and you know, it certainly did.
For sure. I definitely agree. And also, Hubie's character is just a likable guy. Like, you said that, but he really is a really likable dude. I love that mustache. Like, I don't know, the mustache with that character, like, it's just like, I don't know, it was just good. Anyhow, so that's Hubie Halloween. What a great Halloween surprise, I will say, because I didn't know that movie was happening until like last week. That's just a nice little, and you're right, that is like the most recent movie that comes to mind, other than like the last Disney movies. Like, that's like just a Halloween movie that's not a scary movie, which is nice.
Right.
It is nice. I think this movie might age well. Actually, I'm almost positive it will.
I think so too.
I think this is a movie that will definitely get better over time. Like, I bet you if I watch this movie next year, I'll enjoy it more. Because I'll know going into it what to expect, and I'm sure it'll age nice. Anyhow, let's get into our next movie, man. I am so excited to talk about this next movie. I could have sworn, this is another one where I could have sworn we've done this before, but we haven't. And
no, there's no way.
I
mean, obviously we know that now,
yeah,
but I just don't know.
Even if we did do it, doesn't matter. This movie is too good to pass up for another time. Yeah, we're talking about a classic, Halloween classic. For the throwback of the week, it is Beetlejuice.
Is a day, oh. Daylight come and we want go home. Day is a day, is a day, is a day. Daylight come and we want go home. a beautiful bunch, a ripe banana. Hide the deadly black tarantula.
Yep. Beetlejuice.
Joe was singing along with
Yes.
that clip.
Dale.
And, you know, it's not often that I envy the audience, the listeners of Film Juice, but oh boy, well, there you go. There's your good golly. I don't even know what you said at one point.
He said that. He said that. He said that. Oh my god.
This is the show now. This is what the show is.
Dude, it's the... I can't wait. I just cannot wait to just talk about this movie and how incredible it is. And spoiler alert, I like this movie a lot. Beetlejuice is the movie. We're going to get into the music in a little bit. I'm sure you'll see more of my Harry Belafonte. And Andrew is going to love it. This movie, 1988, we have talked about this movie. We talked about it last week because we were talking about Hocus Pocus, and we were talking about how this is kind of from the same era. This came out before Hocus Pocus, though. 1988, directed by Tim Burton, and it stars Winona Ryder, Alec Baldwin, Michael Keaton, a slew of other names. I did not write them all down. I am sorry, but there is a lot of those
Gina
are
Davis.
Yeah.
Catherine O'Hara.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of names in this one. It's crazy. And funnily enough, I think that's how you say it. Funnily enough, Danny Elfman, who also composed Nightmare Before Christmas, composed this movie, which is incredible because one of the best parts of this movie is the music. And then really quick, the DOP is Thomas Ackerman. So this movie, the main characters, it stars Alec Baldwin and oh my god, I'm forgetting. Gina Davis, yes. Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis. They are a couple living in this house in this very small town. Kind of in the small town it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. You know, it's a very local area. Nothing big going on. And they just have this nice little house they like to keep to themselves. They are literally taking a stay-at-home vacation. Like they don't want to go anywhere. They just want to stay at home.
Staycation. Yeah,
they just want to stay at home and, you know, keep doing cool things like that they like to their house. And like Alec Baldwin has this miniature like set town, and like he really loves doing stuff with that. So they're, you know, they go to get stuff for their staycation, and then on the way back they tragically die in a car accident. They drive off of a bridge.
They're murdered. They're murdered by that dog.
They actually are murdered. They are murdered by that dog. And they don't realize at first, but they go home and then they realize eventually that they are dead, in fact dead, and they have a handbook, and they have to learn how to be dead folks in their home. Not only that, but another family buys their home and starts fucking with it and doing all these crazy things to it that they don't like. So they're trying to get them...
Wacky city people.
Yeah, so they're trying to get them out of the house so they can have their house the way, you know, have it to themselves, because they don't like them. They don't jive with them. And, yeah, that's basically... That's a good synopsis, I think, of the movie. I will say... It's hard to fit him in the movie, in the synopsis, because he honestly... Well, okay,
Okay.
Just
Oh, okay.
listen.
You're getting. Never mind. You're going for it
yes.
right now. Okay.
They also, one of the ways they try to get rid of this family is there is a ghoul by the name of Beetlejuice, and he is kind of like a he calls himself an exorcist for hire or something like that. He says something like that, and he basically is you hire him to get rid of, to get rid of people out of your house. He's like a pest control for the undead, but he kind of has a very bad reputation, and the way you summon him is you have to say his name 3 times, and once you say his name 3 times, he can do whatever the hell he wants, and he's kind of a loose cannon, doesn't get along well with others, and hijinks ensue. I think that was one of my better ones.
Without a doubt.
So
I liked it.
Let's just get into it. I was gonna say it's hard to put Beetlejuice in the synopsis because after rewatching this movie, he's not in it as much as I thought he was. He actually isn't in it that much. It's very strange.
Yeah. For the titular character.
Yeah. But when he is in it, he obviously steals the show. Like, he...
Oh, yeah. Well, the biggest... I mean... One of the reasons it's so believable, because, not believable, but it's so easily accepted by us that the title is Beetlejuice when he's not in it necessarily all that much, really. Is because Michael Keaton is unrecognizable. I mean, he does not get enough credit for this role.
No.
Ever, I think. I mean, so many people still have no idea that he is Beetlejuice.
Yep.
Holy cow, man.
It's nuts.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
It really is. I think this is easily my favorite Michael Keaton performance. This is like, yeah, this has to be, because as much as I love his newer performance that I saw in and I've seen, obviously I've seen the Batman movie, also directed by Tim Burton. But I wouldn't pick that as one of my favorite roles of his. I would pick Beetlejuice, and then honestly, it's a more recent one, but I would say Birdman is one of my favorite.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Like, I love his character in that. I think it's great. But anyhow, yes, that's so he's not in the movie as much as I thought, but he absolutely is in this role, and it is crazy. It's definitely underrated, I think. Well, I think it's underrated by some.
Yeah.
But I can't agree with you enough. It's amazing. I guess the first thing I want to say is I had no idea until I looked it up that was Alec Baldwin. Because Alec Baldwin is unrecognizable to me in this movie. He looks so young. Because
he's so young, he's so skinny.
I've never seen Alec Baldwin, young in a movie before. This is the only movie I think I've ever seen him.
He was a big movie star.
What other big movie was he in? When he was younger.
For Red October.
I didn't see that one.
I'll pull it up. Oh, that's a great movie. Sean Connery's in it. It's about submarines.
Oh.
That movie is excellent. I'll just pull it up right now. But yeah, Alec Baldwin was a big deal back in the day.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, what is that movie? I mean, I'll see it in a second as I'm scrolling down. But it's I'll find it.
I
want to get it correct.
I just, for some reason,
he wasn't that.
Have rarely
We're
seen
going back further.
rarely seen him young and a lead in a movie. I must be missing out.
Glenn Ross. That's the
Oh,
one
I
was
haven't
thinking
seen
of.
that
He was in
either.
that. Again, that was 92.
Huh.
He was in Alice. Miami Blues.
I should
Great
check.
Balls of Fire.
We'll have to check some of those out.
He was in Working Girl.
Dang. I'm missing out on Alec Baldwin. Young Alec Baldwin.
You really are. Yeah, so Beetlejuice was one of his first bigger movies.
It
Definitely looks like. Certainly one of his largest roles.
Oh yeah,
Probably his largest, it would seem. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like,
He's
you know,
great.
he's got the record for hosting Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
And the most number of times. And so much of that is because he was in all these movies.
Yeah, I'm just so used.
Like I said, he was a big deal.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm just so used to seeing him older now that I watched this movie again and I was like, oh my god, that's Alec Baldwin. That's insane. He
does look so young.
He has a lot of
different. He looks
Yeah.
there's an innocence to him.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
He has so much hair, no wrinkles. He has glasses. It's crazy.
Oh my god, you're one of those guys that would see Clark Kent and be like, Clark, you just missed Superman.
No, I wouldn't be that bad. Yeah, so he's a huge standout to me in this movie. Really great. I loved seeing him. And obviously this is one of Winona Ryder's most iconic roles as well.
Oh yeah.
She gets remembered a lot for this role. This is a great role for her though. She's great as she's great as this character. And everyone else in the cast also does an amazing job. There's so many of them, and I sadly do not have all their names written down. I am not.
You know who I love is Glenn Shaddix, who plays what's his name?
Otho.
Otho.
Yeah, he.
So good, dude.
He
I
is.
love that character. I could watch a whole movie of that guy.
He's definitely I think he's my favorite out of all of them for sure. Out of all of the other than the main three and Beetlejuice. No, I guess he's my fourth favorite then. I'll say he's my fourth favorite.
Right. So after everybody else, then he's really
Well,
my favorite guy.
dude, I gotta tell you, there are so many things in this movie, and I think you might agree with me. There's so many things in this movie that you don't see when you're a kid, but when you watch them now. Because, the last time I saw this movie was years ago. But when I watch it now, it's there are so many things that I didn't pick up on.
You?
Just kidding. The whole bit with the father, he just wants to, relax, but he can't relax. He's terrible at, that's, one of the funniest bits.
Yeah.
It's one of the funniest bits in the whole movie, and I didn't even know that that was, a plot. When I watched it as a kid, I had no idea that was a thing that was happening. I thought,
Yeah, that's kind of funny. You know what? That's something I didn't recognize until this viewing either. The thing about that guy, Jeffrey Jones.
Yeah.
Pedophile.
What?
Yep, that guy's a pedophile. He was the principal in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and he was a pedophile. Stitch's Great Escape, the ride at the Magic Kingdom in Florida.
Yes.
Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
So that ride used to be a different ride. I don't remember exactly what the name of it was, but it was an alien ride.
I do.
And it was supposedly really scary. And you can look at the photos of the creature that was sort of at the center of this ride. And it was scary. And Jeffrey Jones was in one of the, opening videos. You know how they do the videos to get you into the ride or whatever. And so that's why they had to shut that ride down.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, little known fact.
Damn. God damn it, Jeffrey Jones. Well.
Yeah. Well, I hate to break it to you, but I didn't want you to say God, I love that guy.
Yeah, I'm glad you told me, because I do not, in fact, love that guy. But
Yeah, definitely not.
I gotta say, that one bit is a funny bit.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Like that is a bit that like kind of just, I don't know. It was just a very silly, like, refrain from everything else. That he just wanted to relax and no one gave a shit. Oh man. But anyhow, another thing that really surprised me, the production value on this movie is insane. I don't know if you...
Oh, yeah. Yes.
This is one of the craziest, like, examples of, like, I don't know. I don't know how to... I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's like a precursor to, like, the stop motion in Nightmare Before Christmas and, like, some of the sets in Nightmare Before Christmas. Like...
So I think the effects are very interesting, but they're pretty ambitious.
Oh, yeah.
And the design of those sandworms is fascinating, really imaginative, and really cool. Definitely sticks with you.
It was cool. No, the style of this movie is iconic, and it is definitely, like, one of the best, like, you know, Tim Burton has that, you know, he's known for his style, as most really good directors, and this is when Tim Burton was in his prime. But this is probably my favorite, after, like, rewatching it again, I think this is definitely my favorite, like, Tim Burton movie too. Like Edward Scissorhands is great, but, like, and Batman is great, but
yeah,
it's so unique.
It is unique, and it's got so many opposing elements, so many elements that are on different ends of the spectrum, and it somehow manages to balance them all really, really well.
I don't know how they did it. This is an amalgamation of a film. It's crazy. Like, it's nuts. It's nuts. First of all, like, the concept is just, like, for the late 80s, this is a very ambitious concept. And he really kills it. He kills it, man. The lighting in this movie is amazing. The lighting is, like, one of the best parts. Along with the lighting, the sets are imaginative. They're detailed.
Oh, sets are incredible.
They make you feel like you're actually, like, somewhere else in the underworld. The costumes, all the costumes.
Those character designs when they're in the underworld are, man, holy crap.
The makeup,
really, really cool.
Yep, it's insane. And we were touching on it, but the practical effects in this movie, and they have some, they have some kind of, like, not, like, you know, more animation type effects, but for the most part it's all practical, and it not only does it hold up still, and like you know, like, some effects don't hold up well. The effects in this movie, I think, hold up really well. I think they're charming and they're iconic, and they just fit the movie so well. But they're so good. Like, they look so good for the time this movie came out. It's crazy. With the one, and there's so many subtle ones. Like, the one lady who is their, like, kind of, like, guardian ghost or whatever.
Their caseworker.
Yeah. Whenever she smokes and it comes out of the cut in her throat, I never noticed that.
Holy smokes.
I was like...
Me neither.
I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's great.
I was like, that's such a small detail. Like, I'm sure, like, that's not an easy, like, thing to pull off, and they could have easily not have put it in the movie, and it wouldn't have changed the movie. But, like, it's just, like, he had such an attention to detail in this movie, and God, props to him, and props to Tim Burton, obviously, and props to Thomas Ackerman, the DOP. And I mean, I mentioned it before, but Danny Elfman composed this film, and one of my favorite one of my favorite like movie themes of all time. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, it's an underrated one.
Oh, it is.
I mean, for the complexity of it and how well it fits the project that it's attached to.
It's so unique, yeah.
And especially this movie. I mean, we just said how there's so many, seemingly opposing elements in this movie. The music captures them all.
Uh-huh. It's so chaotic, right? Like, there's like,
but there's something fun about it.
Yeah. So like, it doesn't feel like, and it's like catchy, like it's weirdly so catchy, like so. I guess while we're talking about music, obviously I mentioned him earlier, but they use specifically only Harry Belafonte tracks. I think I'm saying his last name right.
Harry Belafonte.
Belafonte. They use specifically only his tracks, like as like just like real tracks, like everything else is just composed. And Harry Belafonte. There's no reason for him to be the only artist that is featured in this movie, but he is. And I don't know why it's specifically his music, but I mean, I know why, it works perfectly, but it's almost, to me, it seems like a running joke with the crew. Like, there is like, it's just like a weird thing that they put in the movie, and it's just funny because like,
I feel like it's something like there's that Saturday Night Live sketch from not too long ago about this guy who like goes crazy thinking about how the title for Avatar was in papyrus
the Ryan
font.
Gosling one. Yeah.
Yes, this could be one of those situations.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we could discuss and kind of think about and internalize this for quite some time.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I feel like, there's definitely like theories about it, and like, yeah, for sure, sure. But I love it, and I want to just say, like, even in the theme, I don't know if you caught it. I didn't even catch it until this viewing, but in the very beginning of the theme, during the opening credits, when it does the Masama, or like, it's like a slowed down. Fonte track.
Harry
Harry Belafonte track.
Fonte.
Yeah, Fonte. It's a slowed down track, like right in the beginning. So he's even in the very beginning. It's nuts.
Incredible.
And it works so well. And then just the theme, like how it, like, you know, it's like ominous at first, and then it like slowly builds up, and then it's like the dun 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 dun, and then like it gets crazy, and and it's just, oh my god, it's awesome. It's so cool. Okay, I'm talking a lot. What else like, what else really stood out to you in this movie? And I know we've talked about a lot of things, so if you can't think of any then that we haven't already said, then what's like your favorite part of this movie?
Boy, that is difficult.
I know.
You know what I always like? You know what I think my favorite part is? And this is this is not to disparage the rest of the movie, but the very, very end, when they end on the song, I love that. I think that's my favorite part. That's
one of the best. It's an amazing ending. It's one of the best endings in any movie ever. I don't understand why this movie works. I don't think you could teach a class on how this movie works, because I think it's just one of those. There are movies that exist in this world, and we've talked about some of them, where they just work, and there is no reason. There's absolutely no reason.
Storm of elements that luckily come together.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is one of those movies. I think Gremlins is also one of those movies.
Right.
Because Gremlins is another one that's like so bizarre, but it like is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my favorite part of the movie. I mean, it was the kind of the clip we showed. That dinner table scene. It's so good. It is so great. I also love that ending scene though. When the football players come back, those are the most underrated characters in the whole movie.
Oh, absolutely.
The
Coach,
coach.
I don't know. I don't think we survived that bush crash. That's funny.
That's one of the. I think that's like honestly that's contender for one of the best lines in the entire.
That's such a great way to end a scene.
Yeah.
That's expertly done.
It really is. Oh my god. And you know what? Even like the after credits scene with Michael Keaton is just great. It's like silly, but it's really good. This is one of the only movies that I've seen with kind of like an after credits scene, like from this era. It's very strange for a movie like that to do that. I wanted to bring up, the dog definitely killed them. That was crazy. What the fuck? Yep. Also, there's no way they would have died. There's no way. I'm sorry. They could have.
Joe, look. All I'm going to say is you're not a doctor nor a physics expert. Well, here's the thing. Top of the car, right?
Yeah.
Crushed.
Okay. No.
Okay.
No.
Yes.
No. Because they could have easily just gotten out of the car. They landed in the water.
No, but the car was angled down like this off the bridge, right?
Yes.
So the car falls into the water.
Mm-hmm.
And then goes like that.
Yeah.
Flips upside down. So if it's shallow, it crushes them. If it's deep, they start to sink. They can't get out.
Why couldn't they get out? They could open the door.
So if your car is submerged in water, but water has not filled the interior of your car yet, because of the pressure and the suction, you can't open the doors. That's a hot tip for everybody out there.
I didn't know that, but the windows were open.
Okay, well, they probably got smushed or something, dude. Or
I know. That's what they say.
They could have killed them. That impact to that fall, I don't know. It could have done it. You slam your head on the steering wheel, on the whatever.
You're
toast.
Right. You're right. Toast. That dog did kill him though. It's crazy.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, because he saw them earlier at the hardware store. That dog is there, and then he was. Yeah,
he was playing.
So that dog did. Yep.
I like I really like one of my favorite scenes is when he goes. It's like so iconic, but he's like, "It's showtime!" Like it's great.
That's a very Joe Dorado line.
I know we're gonna have to cut it here, but I do want to say just a few more small things. I love that his name isn't spelled like the movie title.
Yeah,
it's perfect. Cause like they can't. Cause if they did, they need to make it hard for him to spell his name, or to say his name somehow. And that makes it difficult because there's many different ways you could pronounce it if he just like tried spelling it out. Mm-hmm. So that's just a smart way to do it. It's just a cool thing. Oh, and his costume's awesome. God, it's cool. And okay, I have two more things, and then I'll let you say whatever else you want to say, and then we'll rate this sucker. Okay?
I don't want to say anything else.
Oh,
I
boy.
think. Unless something comes to me.
Okay. One thing, I know we talked about makeup and costumes, but like the effects of like the scares in this movie are really good. And specifically the one in the dinner party scene that I showed when first of all, there's like a good amount of one takes in this movie, weirdly. They're not like super long, but they have to be well choreographed, so they're like timed right. There's a good few of them, and that dinner party scene, obviously, that's not a one take, but there's a lot of I can't even imagine the coordination that scene had to have had, because of not only the time this movie was made, it was probably a lot harder to do a lot of coordination for that stuff, but syncing it up with the dance and the song, and getting the actors and all the hands to go at once, like, and all of those people had to be under the table, like, that's and it's like it is synced perfectly. It's like so well synced. Part of me wonders, I didn't look into it, but part of me wonders if it's like a robot contraption, and like, but there's no way. It's just hands. There's no way it's a robot contraption. But it's synced really well, and it's like, it's really cool. I'm sure that took a lot of time. So that's one thing. And the other thing, this movie's like a prologue. You know what this movie's like the prequel of Velvet Buzzsaw, but 10 times better.
You know what? I get what you mean, and I liked Velvet Buzzsaw,
I know
as
you
we
did.
all know. So,
but isn't the art isn't like the terrible art that she has, like, isn't
yes,
it
very
like
much so.
And like the fact that it like tries and kill her, or it almost kills her like multiple times, is crazy. And the statement that Tim Burton is making about modern art and like city, like, I don't know, like city like art, like modern art and like art in cities and stuff, I thought that was like, it's very well done. Like, it's really good. I think it's like, you know, it's ridiculous, like, especially with what they do to the house. That's the funniest part about Otho. The house is like, the house makes, not only does the house make no sense when they do whatever they do to it, it looks terrible. It is so bad. It is such a terrible house.
Yeah, right.
It looks like a museum, and that's the point.
Like something only someone could trick themselves into enjoying.
Like, it's so bad. It's like, oh my god. But it's great. Like, it just adds to like what this movie does, and it's so funny, and it's a classic. It is a classic through and through. And that is all I'm gonna say about this movie, other than Winona Ryder did not give her enough props, but she's amazing in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Also, there are way more dark moments in this movie than I remember. Like, she's literally writing a suicide note. Did not notice that as a kid.
Doing a very poor job at it as well.
Oh man, that was, whew. It's like, it's a very morbidly funny, like, scene, kind of, with how it's portrayed. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's, anyway. Yeah, a lot of dark themes, but really well done. Oh, God. Okay, seriously, last thing. I love the Handbook of the Dead. I think it's the funniest thing. That is the funniest, like, the element that they could have put in the movie. Like, it's great.
Such a great prop.
Yeah, I want to ask you one question, because I actually don't have this written down. But I think I didn't write it down because he did it, but I'm not sure. Did he do the screenplay for this movie, Tim Burton?
No, he did not.
No.
That was by Michael McDowell and Warren Scarron.
Wow.
Although Warren Scarron sounds like a pen name if you say it out loud. So, could be anybody.
But I had no idea that, I thought Tim Burton, but the writing in this movie is great, and, yeah, props to them. I'm assuming it's an original screenplay, so, that's nuts. So, wow. Crazy. Cool. This is you want to rate this sucker?
Yes, I suppose we ought to, huh?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this one. This is tough. This is tough. I think where I'm going to land. Okay. Okay. This is tough.
It really is.
But
it's not that tough for me, but
I think I'm gonna land at 8.5.
What?
Yes.
Dude.
I don't. There's just something that I want to push it to a 9, but there's something that I can't articulate. Just there's something holding me back from that.
Okay.
And gosh,
that's crazy. Okay, cause damn, that is a lot lower than I thought you were gonna go. And I'm not saying it's a bad score, but
yeah,
that's just lower than I expected.
I just think here's the thing. Maybe I'm just not sure. For as enjoyable and entertaining as this movie is, and the fact that it's done so well, I'm not sure I could. I think this is certainly a rewatchable movie, but I couldn't. But not necessarily for me.
Okay.
I don't necessarily feel that way.
Okay. Wow. I am definitely on the side of this was my favorite movie, like Halloween movie as a kid, so I used to rewatch it a lot. I don't know, but I can see where you're coming from, but I really love this movie, and this movie is a classic for me. This is a 10 out of 10. This is like this is my favorite Tim Burton movie, and this is also my favorite. It is probably my favorite Halloween movie, honestly. Like,
wow,
it's
I always liked Boo to You, Winnie the Pooh. It's a great movie. Very underrated.
I'm sure I've never seen it. I'm sure it is.
Oh, you got to find a VHS copy.
Coming soon to VHS home video. Well, that's the show this week, guys. What a great lineup today. Yeah, love that shit. I think maybe we will have, next week definitely won't be a Spooktacular, but there might, this might be the last one, but we'll see. I don't know. It depends how things line up. There might be one more, but anyhow, yeah, you can follow us on all the socials. We are on Instagram at film_juice. That is where we have the amazing social media material and thumbnails that are expertly done by Andrew himself.
Actually, I'm pretty sure they're done by Warren Scarron.
What?
We have the same address. They're done by Warren Scarron.
What's done by Warren Scarron?
The Film Juice graphics.
Oh, yes.
The social graphics.
Of course. So, you've just been taking credit for them all this time?
No, it's been Warren Scarron. He knows. He gets his credit that's due.
Oh, I got you. And then on Twitter at FilmJuicePod, there is a lot of stuff still to come. We're getting close to one of these watch parties, I'll tell you what. We really are. We're getting closer and closer every week. I do promise you that. I know it keeps getting pushed back, but I promise you it is definitely getting closer. We should have a guest on soon. And
yes, we need to work that out.
We also should have another guest on after that soon. So that'll be cool. Because I think it's about time for that to happen again. So
yeah.
That'll be good. That'll be probably sometime next month, though. But anyhow, tangent that aside, thanks for sticking with us this episode. We have, we're also on anywhere where you can listen to podcasts, basically. Like, mainly Spotify and Apple Podcasts, but we're also on Google Podcasts. We're also on YouTube. We have our YouTube channel, Film Juice Podcast, where you can watch these lovely videos. You're either watching it or listening to it right now. You get to see our faces. You get to see me move around in a chair like this because I can't stay still for 2 seconds. You get to see Andrew's much more professional background. And you can see my bed that is made.
You get to see where Joe sleeps, so...
It's kind of weird.
He pervs. Yeah, it is weird.
I can't wait to have like an office at some point. That will be nice. What was that guy's name who we were talking about at Beetlejuice? The guy who just wanted to be alone. He just wanted to relax.
The pedophile?
Yeah, I need to make a joke.
Okay.
What's his name?
Jeffrey Jones.
Okay. Yeah, so any of you Jeffrey Jones motherfuckers out there,
Perfectly executed.
Don't be looking over here. It would have been better.
That's the closer.
It would have been better if I didn't have to ask you his name.
That's very true. That's very true. Also, you're like a grown person.
Well, yeah, but you made the pedophile. Okay, never mind.
I didn't make any.
You literally made the pedophile joke. You what?
You said, I forgot about that.
You literally just said it.
That's right. Wow. Well, I say so many great and hilarious things that they just kind of float away from me.
Yeah, I mean, it's also late and we're tired, and I know you're probably like, God, for the love of God, just end this fucking episode. So we're gonna end it. This is Late Night Film Juice, and
Film Juice After Hours.
Film Juice After Hours. And yeah, thanks for listening. Same time, same place next week. Not really. I'm your host, Joe Dorado.
I'm Andrew Canada, and we'll see you next time at the movies.
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
It's showtime.